Hi everybody. So after designing my software for the automatic irrigation controller, specifically for drip irrigation in terraces and balconies, I wanted to do something a little more challenging than that. And drip irrigation is great, but a lot of people told me that they might not have space, or the automatic irrigation controller is useful only for, ornamental plants and flowers. So for this project, I wanted to challenge myself and see if I can design a system and software for growing food in the least possible space with absolutely least amount of resources. Now, drip irrigation is great, you know that, right? But even then, you're still wasting water. And this project back here is where I was trying to experiment and see what is the absolute minimum that you require in order to grow healthy, nutritious food, not the nonsense food that you get at supermarkets, which is pesticides laden or a couple of months old till the time it gets to the shelves. So let me give you a quick preview of what I have over here on the hardware and the software side of things, and then hopefully I'll be able to give you regular updates on how this thing is coming along. Okay, so I'm standing in the storage area of my apartment, and it's a really constricted place. There's probably like 1.5 arm lengths, so it's not a lot of area which I have over here. But what I was trying to do over here is have, instead of growing horizontally, I'm trying to like do a vertical garden over here, or a vertical farm. And in my case, let's have a closer look. I have 3 stages. So stage 1 up top, stage 2 down here, and then stage 3, which is absolutely down at the bottom. This also has the reservoir down here from where I'm pumping the water to all the 3 stages. And I'm reusing the work I did with drip irrigation, right? So instead of just using sprinklers, I'm using different drip irrigation setup. So that way, all of the water goes to the plants, but then it also trickles back down to the main reservoir. So that way, I'm not wasting any water or any of the nutrients. So let's have a closer look at what I have. So for the first stage over here, I've decided to grow kale. So if you notice this kale growing, this is about maybe 2 weeks old. So it started to germinate. I think I have to give it a little more time before it really starts growing crazy. And then I believe I might have messed up and have a little bit of lettuce on this end, but I'll pick that out once these have started growing. And then on the extreme left hand side, I was also trying to see if I can grow habaneros on the inside with artificial lights. So that's also germinated. Let's see how that does in the next few weeks or months. I think the grow cycle for that is usually 3 months, but I'd be curious to know if growing under artificial lights, how well does it do? And so the lights are up here. There's a control system that I've developed, which is taking care of all the automation for watering, plant irrigation, the lighting when it needs to switch on and switch off, as well as the heating and the cooling part. And I'll get to that in a bit, but let me give you a quick view of the stage 2 and stage 3s over here. So the middle one over here is not doing as well, but what I was trying to do is grow basil. So I had 3 different stages. Stage 1 is kale, stage 2 is basil, and stage 3 is lettuce. And if you notice, it's not grown a lot, but at least the seeds have started sprouting. So that's a good sign, right? I mean, that means I'm definitely not doing something terrible, but I don't know why this is taking this much amount of time. Maybe it's the heat, the amount of heat that is required, but let's see how this comes along. I'll probably learn a few lessons, and then the next time round I might have more success with the germination. But they're definitely germinating in all the different areas. It's just been a little slower than what I expected. Okay, and then moving further down to the 3rd stage, which is the lowermost one, and this is the knockout. Like, look at the lettuce which is grown. This is mind-blowing stuff. I never thought that you can grow lettuce inside your apartment, inside without sunlight, but I've been proven wrong, and my God, this looks great. So let's see if I can get a better view from the other side. Okay, So if you notice, there are a couple of sites which I've harvested just earlier this morning while eating food. So I haven't started reseeding them, but in general, look at the size. It's grown really well, and this is about, I don't know, maybe a couple of, no, this is a month old, yeah. So it's taken a little longer than what I was anticipating, but then again, I might have been anticipating something which is just not feasible. Now, what happens is I'm using a technique for watering and irrigating these. It's called aeroponics. So for the lowermost stage over here, right, what I have down here is, maybe you'll hear this noise right now, but that's the pump starting out. And then all of these roots, they're hanging in air. These are not in soil. There is no soil absolutely being used. And if you notice, all of these are hanging. Some of them get suspended down in the water, but it's this spray system which is doing all the trick. So what's happening is, at every 30-minute interval, the spray comes on. It sprays the nutrient-filled water to the roots, and then those basically get all the nourishment they want. And because they're suspended in air, they also get the oxygen. So this was something really interesting for me. I didn't realize that you could grow without soil. I mean, who does that, right? But clearly it is possible, and then you can see down here, it's really doing remarkably well. On the top over here, instead of using the aeroponics system, I'm using the drippers. I'm trying to experiment which one works better. So in this case, I have just drippers all across the grow sites, and then they just sprinkle the water, and that seems to be working well enough. Definitely not as good as the spray, but I mean, for right now, it seems to be doing the trick. So I'm gonna experiment and see how well this really does, and then if things need to change, I might need a larger pump or something to pump out all the water, but we'll see about that. And then what next? Maybe on the software side, I can talk a little bit about it. So I've designed the software in a way that it is completely modular. So this is leaning heavily on the work I did for the automatic drip irrigation controls. And so the idea is, this control over here is remotely controlled. It is connected to the cloud, so I don't need to be here physically present when it needs to be switching on and off the power supply. But it looks at the different temperature profiles, looks at the humidity, keeps a log of that, and then every 30 minutes, it acts like a timer, but it's a little bit more than that, right? Because I'm also taking photographs of the grow as and when every 3 hours. So I'll show you some pictures which I've taken primarily for the image processing part, to see how the plants are growing, and more importantly to do some sort of image detection or feature detection to figure out are all the grow sites growing, or if they need some more help, maybe I need to. Okay, so like I said, this is pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm still in the experimentation stage. The software is mature enough so that I don't need to keep a tab on it every single day. But in the next few videos, I will try and give you a little bit more idea of, what's the nutrient profile that is required for all the different plants, what's the acidity level of the water that needs to be there in order to promote the growth. Do I need to water it? How long do I need to water it? The temperature, the carbon dioxide, humidity, a lot of different things. And the best part is I'm utilizing software in order to do all of those controls for me, so that all I need to do is pretty much pick something up and eat it. And let's see, I'm gonna pick one of these up. I bet you've never done this in the past ever, right? Live. Tastes like lettuce, if you ask me. All right, so this is me signing off. All right, see you guys. I'll see you in the next video shortly, and take care.